Hey guys, and welcome back to Super Castlevania 4. We're getting nearer and nearer to Dracul's hiding places in a sanctum, but we've still got a little bit of a ways to go yet. Just follow the giant bats and never question them. Never question the bats.
Well, there's one thing I would like to question about Castlevania, and that's exactly how close is it to the original Bram Stoker novel Dracula? Have you actually read Dracula?
Fuck no, I haven't read the original Dracula. What do you take me for? Some kind of book reading guy?
Well, like me? I suppose. I don't know.
What kind of books do you read exactly?
Oh, well, I haven't read Dracula, actually. I've read Interview with the Vampire, which I actually really like, and I should probably revisit down the line now that I think about it, since I'm actually reading novels again, which is bonkers, I know.
Wasn't that adapted into a film that starred like Kirsten Dunst?
I think it was Kirsten Dunst. I know, fuck, I'm gonna have to look up who was in there, because I know the fucking guy, but obviously I'm not saying it very well, like, in terms of who actually played who in that movie.
Yeah, never trust your memory. Never trust anyone's memory.
But, Interview with the Vampire is probably the only vampire thing I actually really know. Obviously, Castlevania does take, original inspiration from the Bram Stoker novel, but they kind of differentiate in a lot of ways. And what actually have always bugged me about Castlevania was that the big thing about it was that, Dracula in this series basically conquered death. Like, he, I believe in, what was the name of that one game? Like, his original origin, things
Lament
like that.
of Innocence.
Lament of Innocence, okay. It was like Leon Belmont's friend, who, I believe he wanted to originally become a vampire to kind of, avenge somebody else and things like that. And basically what happened is that Death sort of became his bitch. And I never really liked that. Like, they explain that it's like, oh, because Dracula has conquered death and he doesn't die anymore and things like that. He's always coming out. Death is subservient to him. Fuck you. I don't buy that for a fucking minute. They actually try to say that people are fucking friends. Really? This is death we're talking about. Come on.
Man, you're really mad about this, like, fucking Dracula fanfiction.
This isn't a fanfiction. This legitimately happens within the fucking series.
Oh, whatever.
Okay. Based on the novel by Anne Rice, stars Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. Claudia was played by Kirsten Dunst. Yes, you're correct. Okay, that movie was actually pretty good. Like, the ending was a little bit different to kind of set up for other stuff, but then they made, like, the Lestat film and, like, Queen of the Damned and things like that, and I guess I should check those out the other day. I actually, at work, I found, like, an audiobook of another Anne Rice thing that she wrote. Like, it was called Taltos. It was, like, part of 3 books, the Witching Hour trilogy, and I bring this up because this particular audiobook was narrated by none other than Tim Curry.
Oh, yes.
And let me tell you, hearing Tim Curry play a female Southern belle is the best feeling you will have all day.
Oh, Jesus.
It's fucking hilarious. There's a scene where one of the female characters gets pregnant with, like, some weird freak baby that they're trying to make. I'm not explaining the book very well.
Oh, damn freak babies.
And during all this, the Southern Belle is talking, and Tim Curry is doing his hilarious, exaggerated Southern accent, and it's the funniest fucking shit ever. I was just sitting there smiling as I'm listening to this, because it's the best thing. Like, Tim Curry gives, like, the best, hammiest fucking performance. That's why I love the man so much.
As we go through this long library, that's the name of the level, you'll have to look out for a few things. There are, like, portraits that'll grab you and, like, hold you for other enemies to, try and take a stab at you. That's kind of like a running theme throughout Super Castlevania 4. For some reason, I don't know. There was a worm thing back there which I've never tried fighting because it looked scary, and things that are scary are off limits to me. But, otherwise, pretty simple level, honestly.
Oh man, I'm looking at the Wikipedia article for Interview with the Vampire, and they're making a new adaptation of Interview with the Vampire. It's probably not going to be as good, but, there you go.
These things will try to drop their balls on you. Pretty self-explanatory.
Man, I always have that problem with girls, too.
Really? There's so much less scary things in this game than the imagery of your testicles, alright?
That's true, that is pretty frightening, considering how huge and pendulous they are.
Stop!
They'll crush anybody.
Yeah, pendulous is one of my least favourite words, especially used in conjunction with any one of your body parts. Anyway.
Okay, Getting back also on, I guess, horror topics, sort of. This isn't technically a horror game.
Wait, we have a boss. I must attend to boss FAQ duties. This is Sir Grackle. He is a 2-stage boss. First he will, like, come at you with his axe, and he'll bring out a sword, but that doesn't matter because he's already dead.
Wow, that was... Man, you just wasted that fucking guy. I was expecting a little bit more for, like, what is this, stage 7? Man, that's bonkers, dude. The whip, maybe the whip really is too powerful, and the cross in conjunction.
Oh god, what's happening? Everything's exploding!
Oh, did you crash the SNES for a minute here? Oh, there he goes.
Oh, look, we were almost at the castle, but the game's like, nope, sidetrack, bitch, and now we're going down to the catacombs.
You would think he would have done this, like, at stage 6, like, to begin with. Just drop the whole thing into a fucking pit and start over, you know?
Well, he's immortal. He's not a genius, so...
Well, I would imagine that after a while, although Dracula does get defeated by the same guys an awful fucking bunch when you think about it. That also reminds me I haven't played much of the other, well, there are other various Metroidvanias that I haven't really talked about besides Aria of Sorrow. I don't know how many of these you've played, but I might as well talk about them now. I probably have mentioned this already, actually, but I'll bring them up again, so tough shit. Portrait of Ruin was meh. Like, it was like I like the idea of when they go away from the Belmonts to kind of do other characters to take on Dracula. They actually do this in the 16-bit area with Castlevania Bloodlines, a game that I have not played, but I have heard good things about, mostly from, you know, James Rolfe, who really actually praised the game for what it is. And in Portrait of Ruin, you're like, it's still like a Metroidvania, but you're playing like the son of John Morris, who I believe was one of the original characters in the Bram Stoker novel.
Ah, nice.
Like, his thing is that he can't use the vampire killer because he's not a Belmont. He's fucking stupid. I don't like him. There's Charlotte, whatever her last name is. She's related to Fernando, you know, Silva Bernaldez, I believe.
Ah, Fernando.
Fernando. And I don't fucking care about her. She's lame. That game had a terrible art style. I hated it. The dialogue was cringeworthy. Wasn't really balanced that well. Although the cool thing about that was that you actually fight Dracula and Death in a tag team final boss battle, that's cool, but it's fucking bullshit, let me tell you now. And you pretty much, I had to get an armor that reduced all my damage to 1/10 of the amount I would take just to beat that guy. I was having such a fucking hard time with him.
They probably knew you'd have that kind of trouble then, that's why they put in the armor in the first place.
Yeah, but that armor was in an optional area where I had to take on an even tougher challenge to succeed, so I don't really know.
Ah, well.
Then there's Order of Ecclesia, which is the final DS Metroidvania game released. Now, I haven't done a lot of time with that, but it's a huge return to form. It actually takes a lot of cues from Castlevania 2, where there's a town, there's like people to save, there's side quests to do, things like that, and you have the really interesting kind of system where you're using like magic sigils to like mix and match your attacks and things like that. And that's another example of a protagonist that wasn't a Belmont that actually took on Dracula. She had to use something called Dominus, which is like some fuck you nuke spell or something like that in order to beat him. But I've heard good things about Order of Ecclesia. It's apparently balls harder than I give it credit for at this time. I don't know. That's, I guess, why I didn't touch it. Because, you know, I'm not obviously for difficulty.
I'm scared of challenge, guys.
Hey, I have enough challenges in my life. Fuck you.
Stop making it real.
Have you played Dawn of Sorrow, though?
I've never played any of the Metroidvania games, mate.
Okay, well, Dawn of Sorrow was the sequel to Aria of Sorrow. It was okay. I kind of wish they did more with it, because the game they never made that I always wanted in Castlevania was the final battle at 1999 where they defeat Dracula for good forever. Because that sounded really fucking cool. You probably would have played a Julius Belmont, my absolute favorite Belmont in the entire series, and they just didn't get around to it. I don't know why. Dawn of Sorrow had a lot of the same elements that made Aria of Sorrow good. There was this weird sigil system that kind of shoehorned in the DS's touchscreen in order to kill bosses. Some of the souls were okay. Hated the anime art style, but that's just me. But other than that, I just tend to like the Metroidvania Castlevanias as a whole, and it is kind of sad that we're probably not going to see many more of them anytime soon.
Poor Castlevania. Also, poor Rocket Knight, anything involved with Kojima, like Zone of the Enders and so on. Just a sad state of affairs, really.
A part of me feels that they're gonna revisit it down the line, because they're, we thought Metal Gear wouldn't get games, but now they're making Metal Gear Survive, which is kind of fucking stupid when you think about it. Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Is it getting a little bit too real again for you, Tom?
Always real, mate. Always real.
I just have a terrible feeling that a future Castlevania game will not be a pachinko machine, but it will be far fucking worse than any of us had ever potentially anticipated.
Make sure you crouch through here, by the way. Once you get a spike in your knocking, that's it for Simon Belmont.
If you crouch, he can do a duck walk.
Shut up. I knew you were going to say that because I was going to make that joke until you butt in.
Oh, okay. So I make all the good jokes and you try to steal them.
Yeah, basically, that's essentially what I said. Alright, it's time to take on Frankenstein. You can't have a, fucking Castlevania game without Frankenstein. He throws stuff at you, and that's about it. The vials do, have, different properties for whatever colour he throws, but it don't really matter, because he's already dead.
Technically, it's Frankenstein's monster, not Frankenstein.
Have you seen that edit of, the book, on the last page? It's, it's an excerpt for the monster, and he's like, I don't mind if you just call me Frankenstein. It's cool.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've actually read Frankenstein.
What?
I actually really
Are there any
enjoyed
books you haven't read?
Well, I suppose that they have to do with exercise and or cooking.
Oh, I get it.
Well, no, I've read actually a few books about exercise. Politics are books I typically don't read, those kind of things.
Okay, we are now in the treasury, which is basically just an excuse for me to go, oh, look at all the pretty gold for 10 minutes.
And then this reminds me of the Cave of Wonders level back in the Aladdin video game, on Sega Genesis. That thing was, to this day, I'm still a little bit sore about the fact that when you do the lava chase level, if you actually fail in enough, they'll just let you pass automatically, you're not good enough.
There's one thing to not being able to get past something, and it being bullshit hard, and giving you the option to maybe turn down the difficulty, but just skipping ahead without your consent, no thanks.
I don't know, back then as a kid I was like, oh well, thank God, but I don't know.
Yeah, you're older now, you're wiser, you're hopefully better at video games.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I mean, fuck, I have not... Because of the way I schedule my days, I have not really played a lot of games recently. I still need to go back and kind of do time with, the Metroid game that shall not be named. And, mostly the video games I've been playing are shit on my tablet. Ascension, other card games, things like that. I actually got a triple triad I've been playing.
I'm mostly down to clown with, Hyrule Warriors Legends nowadays. I don't know, it's just easier for me to pick up my new 3DS XL and have a bash on that.
This is what it means to be an adult, isn't it? You can't just sit down and spend a lot of time to play video games anymore because you gotta do other shit.
Well, it's more the anxiety, more than anything. I prefer lying down on my bed playing on a handheld than just sitting in front of a television, I guess. Anywho, this is one of my favourite bits on the soundtrack, actually. The Treasury. It's just, nice and bouncy, and it's perfectly offset by all the gold everywhere.
Yeah, it's kind of funky cool in its own little way.
Not sure what the deal is with all the ghosts flying up in the foreground. I guess they were the unlucky souls who tried to pilfer the treasure.
That's true. I mean, I guess there really isn't a lot considering we're walking on it and destroying it easily with a single step.
Well, I don't know. Maybe the gold jewels did something to the platforms and made them brittler.
No, it is prescribed throughout history that the Belmonts must face Dracula, whenever he's reincarnated or whatever, and fight him and defeat him and things like that. But I really do have to ask myself what they're exactly doing in their off time, because I know Leon Belmont was he was a soldier, I know that much. But beyond that, I'm not really sure about the others, I have to say. What does Simon Belmont do when he's not slaying monsters?
I don't know, he goes out and does cooking for people who can't cook. I don't know. I think in one of the Castlevania 3 endings, Trevor not exactly settled down with the Igor type character, but at least stayed in the village.
Yeah, something like that. And well, I'm guessing, considering how often they remake Castlevania 1, I guess his entire career was just to go through that game over and over again. They pay him for each appearance. It's like royalties,
This floor is very, very brittle, and there's basically a bottomless pit underneath it. I would heavily recommend swinging across. I'm not sure how safe it is, just doing little footsie taps across the place.
I wonder how fair it would be approaching that kind of level, your first time playing through. Can you recover once you discover that the gimmick is that, oh, it's just gonna fall down if you step on it?
I would imagine so, but you would have to be really fast. Don't mind me.
Oh, now you're just showing off.
Just moonwalking up the stairs. You didn't think I was going to go through a whole playthrough of Super Castlevania 4 and not show that off, did you?
Now, I think I do remember, and obviously we're not in the level for that anymore, which is because I remembered this a little bit too late, but there was actually like a secret room back in the caverns you could access that gave you like whip power-ups and a lot of points and things like that. Remember when you played for points? Remember then?
Yes. I'm only like a year younger than you, mate.
Well, even so, like, you know, I'm not really sure, like, it's a holdover from the arcade games, but even back then, playing for points always felt a little pointless to me because you couldn't really do anything with them. It's not like the money you were earning in the level could be used to buy stuff, you know?
What do points mean? Certainly not prizes, that's for sure. There's tons of bags of money around here. I've honestly forgotten what, like, money does. It may have something to do with lives. I know hearts give you ammo for your sub-weapons, but money? I don't know. It's just nice to hear that little jingle, that clink when you pick them up.
Well, what I heard is that money can be exchanged for goods and services.
I'm gonna smack you across the face one of these days, I swear to God.
Well, maybe when you finally visit, you can finally punch me for all those years of terrible commentary jokes.
And you can smack me in the face for all the retakes.
That's true. So basically, at the end of the first day of the visit, we'll both be a bloody mess.
Yes. That's what true friendship is, guys. Just kick the shit out of each other.
Then we'll go out for frosty chocolate milkshakes. That'll work.
I'm gonna put a ban on Simpsons memes for like at least a year. We need to stop regressing in terms of comedy.
Man, shit, that's like half of my joke repertoire, just saying stuff from other shows.
Yeah, just gone in like the blink of an eye. Okay guys, we're coming up to the boss of the treasury here. This one gave me a little bit of trouble because it's another one of those like counter-attacking sorts of bosses. Let me get its proper name up here. It's basically just a big golden bat, but its actual name is the Zapf Bat, Z-A-P-F.
ZAPF? Like, oh, how do you name these kind of things? How did they come up with these?
I don't know.
It is kind of interesting to have a bat made out of gold and jewelry, though. That's definitely like a stand power.
Yeah, it's just the darkness taking form, I guess. That wasn't the hard part of the fight. This is. Because not only will they, like, counter with, like, sprays of money when you hit them, they also drop mini gold coins as well. So you're going to want to time your jumps over these guys carefully, and when you actually attack them.
Yeah, I definitely do not remember getting to this point, because this boss is, like, completely Greek to me.
Oh, you're like me during the Ape Escape playthrough. Then there was, like, a certain point of that game when I just, like, basically clocked out mentally, and I was, like, relearning stuff all over again.
You know, it is neat when you can, like, go back to an old game you used to play, though, and kind of just rediscover stuff again.
Yeah. Oh, seizure warning, by the way.
Yeah, a little bit late for that, don't you think?
Well, I'm sorry, you were talking at the time.
Warning, idiots talking.
I love those spoiler warnings, like, they actually give the spoiler warning at the end of the spoiler. Good shit. Okay, come to me, Magic Stairs. Take us to the finale of Super Castlevania 4. Please join us next time, where we'll punch Dracula in the face with a whip. Bye-bye.